Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.
This is Chris from Trapped in Purgatory, and you're listening to the UK Thrashers radio show. Get in the pit!
Welcome to the UK Thrashers radio show. This week we catch up with Paula from Helgrind, but before that let's kick off with a track from Elimination. This comes from their brand new album Echoes of the Abyss, and it's called Disciples of the Beast. Okay, next up, some central Scottish thrash representing Glasgow. This is Black Talon, Depreciation Zone. These guys are just putting their finishing touches to their second album, led by annihilated legend Cy Cobb. This is Son of the Endless Night and Where Is Your God?
Kneel before the priest, must repent, kiss the cross.
Kiss my ass, you and your God.
Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.
When you were reaching up an ass
That was Reprisal the Great Dying. This is Sorticide. We came to kill. time to go on a fucking killing spree. This is King Abyss. straight out of Northampton. This is Siderian. Look out for the sneak attack.
No turning back. show in town. Stand up for the star attraction, the carnival of freaks. Walk into a ring of fire, a masked pretender speaks. Headstrap swinging candy lights, fear becomes a friend. Step up to the carousel, the magic never ends. We only see what they want us to. We only read what they want us to read. We only hear what they want us to. They wanna make us bleed. Bow down to the clouds. When the circus comes to town, bow down to the clouds. Watch your puppets dance and drown. Who's wearing the crown? Pulling strings, we all fall down. Bow down to the clouds. The greatest fucking show in town.
Time for some more thrash delivered the old school way. This is Virus and Goat.
Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.
Scimitar from Belfast and Witching Hour. This is Enquire Within and Berserker.
Evil is growing like blood from the skies. Feel hell's embrace and watch the berserker rise. At the creation of the fallen sun, my reign of agony is just begun.
Hi, this is Paula from Helgrind, and from our new Insurrection album is Breeding Hate.
Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.
Okay, welcome to the UK Thrashers radio show. This week in the studio, we're joined by Paula from Helgrind. Welcome to the show, Paula.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We are on, we're on what is the eve of the release of the new album, but by the time this comes out on the show on Sunday, it'll have been out for 2 days. Insurrection, it's been a long time coming.
Yes, it has. Yes. Oh, when you think that we wrote this album back in 2014, and we got all the ideas together. 2013, 14 were the demos, and then we got in to record it. So we recorded it 2016 originally, and then we had a few problems, political issues, and we weren't happy with what was coming out. But by then we were already booked on tour, and we were touring the Insurrection album, but we didn't have an album. And so the people that we were with before, they gave us some copies, but we weren't happy with them. But we took them with us on tour, And then when we got back from that, we cut all ties and got in with Metal Rocker and talked to them. And it's taken a while to get to where we are with COVID and all the rest of it, and so now we've got a product that we're very, very happy with. And I'm reading the reviews. It seems that everyone's happy with it. So we're doing all right. We're moving in the right direction.
Definitely. Before we go kind of delving into the new album, do you want to go back to the start? You guys have been around for, I think it's 20th anniversary this year. How did the kind of Helgrind project all come about in the first place?
Well, I was in a band. I'm the original member and the only original member left of the band. And it all started in a pub.
As they all do.
Yeah, all these stories start in a pub, don't they? They never start in a schnitzel factory or anything like that. It's always a pub. And, we were just about to be signed by someone. We had a different name, and we were just about to be signed. And some of the guys, they weren't committed to it. They didn't want to do it, and they dropped out. And it just left 3 of us. And we just didn't know what to do, and because it's difficult when your drummer, because I was only the vocalist then, your drummer and your bass player leave the band, and it just sort of leaves you with a couple of you. And so I just took on playing bass. The guitarist Andy Hobbs, he came up with the idea of calling it Helgrind, because he was majorly into this Norse mythology at the time, and so he said it's got to be Helgrind, and that's where we came from. So to December 2000, but we didn't meet up until write new songs until February 2001.
And what were your influences then? What kind of possessed you in 2000? Bearing in mind that's probably kind of 8 years after thrash died on its arse to kind of pull together a thrash band.
Yeah, it's a weird time to do it, really, because there wasn't really anybody around when we started getting going. And our major influences really were Exodus and Sepultura, Anthrax, Slayer, the Overkill. These were really our main bods that we were listening to. And Andy was listening to a lot of punk, so at the time as well. So we sort of crossed over the 2 genres, because the previous band wasn't really a thrash metal band. It was more of just a standard metal band, a lot of screaming and sort of that new wave sort of style. So that's why, so we just pulled together all our influences. We were all really heavily into the 80s thrash scene. And so that's what we started doing.
And what about your vocal style? Obviously, I've seen a few kind of jokey posts saying that if Tom doesn't want to come out of on tour, you'll step in for Slayer in bass and vocal. So it's a perfect fit, right?
I really would.
Is that kind of, where did your vocal style come from? Was that just from listening to that kind of 80s music, and you kind of, because it says your new wave of kind of British heavy metal stuff that you were doing before was a bit, he was trying to get you to do some high pitched screaming and some other, does your kind of vocal style today kind of just sit where you want it to be in kind of your natural range?
Yes, it is. It is, yeah, because I'm more of a tenor sort of style anyway. when it comes to vocal style. And before we were doing more sort of, I don't know if you get technical with singing, but I was doing more sort of head singing than I was sort of diaphragm. And so it wasn't comfortable to do it because you could really feel it in your nose, and it was more sort of like the Bobby Blitz sort of style vocal, you know, but a more uncomfortable version of that, you know. And when we got together, I said to them, look, I want to try something different. And it was initially, our very first times, it was more sort of a Motorhead stroke Tom Araya stroke someone else, you know, Exodus sort of style. So it was more sort of chanting and rather than singing. But it actually felt lower into my range. So it felt so good and it felt really comfortable and you know, no more sore throats, which was the best.
Yeah. And then what about the rest, guys? As you say, there's kind of, you're the only kind of founding member still standing, or standing most of the time.
Well, I can.
Kind of, what's the current lineup, and how long have those guys been in the band? Who's kind of who's doing what at the moment?
Andy, the drummer, he is the second longest serving member. He's been in the band since 2008. And then Simon, who's been he's been doing a lot of work with us previously, and so he was in and out of Helgrind for quite some time. He helped us with the Fallen Prophet EP, doing the videos and playing live for us because we needed that second guitarist. But he had too many projects on, so he never really joined us. And so he was helping us out live, and then we asked him to join us. I think it must have been about 8 years, I think. Yeah, something like that. Maybe 8, maybe longer that he's been with us. And our new recruit is Joe. So, because unfortunately, Chris had to drop out because he had some problems with his ears. And so he had to drop out of the band, which is a real pain, you know, and it's a real shame because we had a really good group. We had a really tight group together, personally and also musically.
Yeah.
But then Joe's a perfect fit because he's exactly the same as Chris, you know, in terms of musically, you know, and personality-wise. We haven't been on tour with him yet. That's
where the real test is, when you...
Yes, exactly. But he doesn't drink alcohol, so we're never going to really know what he's like.
It sounds like the driver.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, exactly. I don't think he's got a license to drive, so yeah.
A bad recruitment policy. I don't know what are you doing.
I know. Well, he was a good fit. We went with music rather than ability to drive after shows. Well, all I know is it's not me that drives after the shows.
That's all you can remember.
Yeah, because that's all I need to know. You know, because as soon as I get in the venue, because I normally drive to the venues and then I pass the keys on to someone else and say, right,
that's your problem.
Yeah, exactly. And I say, oh no, but it's your turn to drive this time. I say, 2 beers, sorry.
Yeah, 2 beers too late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, within the first 5 minutes. What?
straight into the rider, down your neck. You know,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, 2 kegs.
So when Simon kind of joined proper, you guys kind of started writing new material together, which is, I think, the body of this album. I think, you know, if you look down the track list, I think there's one for just you, one for just Simon, and the rest are a combined effort. And it really seems to have kind of reinvigorated some of your songwriting and kind of pushed it a little bit extra, I think. Is that how it felt? Did it feel that kind of fresh blood from Simon and some different perspective helped, you know, move your songwriting on a little bit?
I think it did, because like whenever new blood comes into a band, you know, there's always that sort of anticipation of what's going to come out initially, you know, but there's also that bit of nervousness because do they really understand the ethos of the band and what the band want to do? But with Insurrection, we wanted to get back to how religious persecution was, you see, and then I said to Simon, it's like, this is really where I want it to be. I want it to be like Religious Persecution, but grown up. And, you know, he understood it straight away. And the two of us clicked just, you know, really, really well. And I'd be sending him demos and he'd be like sending them back saying, oh, did you try this? And I was, how did you, you know, how did you do that? So it's really, really good.
So it's like the hive mind. You're all kind of...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we don't write in the studio at all. What we do, we write demos on our own equipment. And we send them to each other and you know, and then when we get into the studio, we sort of make a final demo and then send it to everyone and then go into the studio and thrash it out, literally thrash it out. Yeah.
So you said kind of the album was kind of originally written and recorded and didn't kind of, you know, the production and mastering didn't live up to your expectations and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. How much of the kind of the album that's coming out, or came out on Friday, how much of that is the original material and how much of it is kind of brand new recorded, or is it kind of the whole album re-recorded from scratch?
No, the drums are the original drums, but everything else is new.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely everything. You know, there were parts that we weren't happy with, you know, and vocally, the original sounded good vocally, but there was parts that, you know, it's like every band, when they release something and then they listen back over a year and then they sit there and think, oh, I should have done that different. I should have done it like this. And that gave us that opportunity. You wouldn't normally get that sort of opportunity.
Was it also partly, obviously you've played, I guess, the majority of these songs live?
Yes.
So was some of it also about, you know, learning the song, you know, because I guess playing it live is in a different atmosphere, and, you know, did some of that help as well? Is that you probably played more than most bands? You know, a lot of bands barely play their stuff live, you know, might get one or two before they've been in the studio, but because you've kind of toured this album before it was really an album, you yes. Get to tour it twice. So do you think did that tweak things as well? Do you think actually when I do this live, I do it a slightly different way, and therefore this might work better on kind of recording?
Yeah, I think only in delivery, and yeah, there was one song, I think that was Massacre of the Suffering, when we played that live. It was only till we got in the studio that I realised that I was playing it wrong. Not bad for someone who wrote it. And Simon told me, you do know you're playing an F when you should be playing a G. And I'm like, really? I've always played an F.
Yeah, you didn't at one point, but
No, exactly. But yeah, it was like tweaking bits and pieces, but nothing. I think just in delivery rather than changing song structure or changing songs or notes. Apart from that, but you know, so yeah, I think in delivery it got, when you've toured an album, everything seems to click a lot better, and then you get really tight with it, and then it gets even more brutal. You know, a lot more brutal than before.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a really good. It's a good feeling.
I think you can hear that on this album. You know, it is tight. It is, you know, as you'd expect, but it's a powerful album. It's, you know, it's kind of it's probably up there with the strongest stuff you've done, and it feels like the anger's there and the kind of the spite is in the back of the throat, and it really does, you know, do what it says on the tin.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you 100%, because I haven't been this happy about an album since Religious Persecution, you know, or a release, I should say. There was something about Inquisition, the Inquisition album, I just didn't like. I think the material was going down the different route, because I stepped back from writing on that album, and I let our guitarist Jim write the majority of the music on there. Apart from songs like Burn, Hurt, Black Rain, I think, and possibly one more on Inquisition, I didn't really have a lot to do with the writing on it. You know, so but I wasn't happy with it, because it was going down a more technical route that, you know, our fans weren't weren't ready for that. weren't
No.
ready for that. You know, they're more ready for the brutality of it all.
Yeah,
know.
and you've always, I think you've always been that straight, and it's not that you don't do technical playing, but and there's no harmonies or anything else. It's not dumb straight, but it is pure raw thrash. There's no voivod stuff in there, and there's no kind of, there's none of that kind of pompy kind of technicality to it. It is straight up what you see on your tin. I think at the moment that sits really well in the current climate within the UK. This kind of thrash with a bit of a death metal undertone is probably the strongest it's ever been.
Yes,
and I think it's the album sits really well amongst its peers, and the up and coming young thrusters that are kind of chomping at everyone's heels all the time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's really good of you to say, because I mean, when we first started out, we started out to be a band where you could buy our CD, sit down, and you could learn the songs. And there wasn't anything in there that you'd be sitting there saying, oh, are they doing hammer-ons, or are they doing this, are they doing tapping or whatever? Because no, we're not. We're just, we're just playing everything. It's just bang, And so, but Cy brings in some more technical sort of stuff in his playing, and it needed it. Don't get me wrong, it really did need it. It needed something in there to make it. Otherwise, it's just going to be root metal.
Yeah, yeah. It just makes it a bit richer, doesn't it? That whole sound is richer because of the slightly twiddly stuff he does, without detracting from, as you say, the lots of straight thrash that's going straight down the middle of the album. That most people, if they can hopefully hear it, can pick up the bass line or pick up a few of the riffs. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Because I remember when I was a kid, when I started playing bass when I was a kid, it was all about just playing along to your favourite records.
Lots of open E's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you look at Ride the Lightning, and probably Cliff Burton probably wasn't the easiest person to try and copy, But certainly things like Slayer and like the Show No Mercy and all those sort of albums, they were like the bread and butter for me to learn. And that's what I was learning when I picked up my bass.
Yeah.
It's what I wanted to be like.
No, exactly. And I think that's still, despite the generation of, YouTube follow-alongs and all that sort of stuff, I think that's still how people want to be able to play music. You want to be able to hear something and have a go and at least produce something that kind of sounds like it resembles it.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, because there are kids that come up to us after shows and they're saying it's like, I think I know how to play this, but there's a bit in it that I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And we sit there and we say, oh yeah, you need, it's this and this, and we talk to them about the riff and talk it through with them, and they get it. And that's brilliant. We love all that. It's really good.
So back onto the album itself for you, obviously. I think Simon did all the kind of technical wizardry and the kind of production and everything else, and then kind of passed it over to you for mastering. Was that just the benefit of time that allowed you to kind of to play that rather than bringing in a third party to kind of to play around, or were you just happy that you knew what you were going to get when it was in your control? Yes,
a lot of it was to do with trust, because we recorded the original down in a studio with a producer, and he'd done a fantastic job, but he got let down somewhere along the line. Someone tweaked it somewhere along the line and messed it up for us. So it was all to do with trust. And Simon and I know what we're looking for with a thrash album. We know the sounds we're looking for. And Simon knows how to mix, and he's really good. He's really good at what he does. And of course, I know how to mix as well. Being a producer. So what they do is Simon will send me the mixes and say, is there anything on there? And when you listen to it, because I've listened to it through the studio monitors, so we've got exactly the same sort of gear, so we can hear back and we'd say, oh yeah, the guitar needs to come up here, the vocal needs to come down there, and you need to bring this up and need to do that with the drums or whatever. And so we can pass that back and he can do it. And it's not quicker. It's not quicker at all, because you're sitting there and you're being more you're being more restrictive on just letting something go. You know, because when you're in a studio, you're paying for the day, and then you're sitting there and you're listening to it and you're thinking, Christ, the day's nearly over, you know, and they play you the track and what do you think of that? And you're like, yeah, it's really good. You know, but we could turn around to each other and say, actually, that's pretty crap. You know, we can't do anything with that, you know. So, you know, so we restricted ourselves and we really, really sort of, excuse me, we were really tight with ourselves on how we listen to everything.
Is there a risk of going too far the other way? Is there a risk of, like, you know, it never ends up getting finished because you kind of, you know, you're twiddling and kind of adjusting, or are you kind of quite good at saying, like, you know, that's now the end of what we, you know, a shake of the head.
we are terrible, because the stupid thing is you can tweak something, and then all of a sudden go, shit, it sounded better before, but I can't remember what I did. But yeah, we were in that danger. So in the end, I put a deadline on it, you know, and with the help of Metal Rocker, because they came to us and said, well, we need the album, we need the masters, you know, we need this out, you know. So it was sort of like we had that deadline then, so we had to do it, but we weren't going to settle for second best. We were going to put out the best of what we could do. And I must have done, you know, I've done about 6 masters, and before we were actually really, really happy with the mastering. Yeah, you know, so we really did go for it to make sure it was 100% correct.
And I said, it definitely sounds like it. You know, you can definitely tell that the attention to detail's been there, and I guess also, you know, as you say, when people are on the clock, you only want to pay them for a day's work or 2 days' work, and you guys have probably put months of work into it, which allows you to, you know,
exactly. Well, years. Yeah, you think that, from 2018, that's when we started reworking on the album. Yeah, so, you know, so it was a long, hard slog, but I think most bands do it, don't they? In that sort of time of the production.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I guess having the skill in house makes life a bit easier, doesn't it? You know, you haven't got, you know, a lot of bands haven't got very much money. There's not much to make out of gigging or anything else or selling records anymore. So the budget is tighter and tighter to do all these things. So if you've got the skills in house, it's you know, at least one person you haven't got to hand over cash to, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, the world is DIY now, isn't it? Everything's DIY with music nowadays, you know, and all the bands that are bringing stuff out now, the skill set and skilled levels with some of the music that people are bringing out, it's unbelievable. Yeah. They're masters at their instruments, and they know exactly how to make it sound great through their computer systems. You know, and it's important. It's important to keep it alive.
And across the scene as well, I think, you know, there's a really good network of, you know, artists and, you know, bands in this band will help other bands do logos and art and, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's, you know, the underground ethos is still very much kind of alive and kicking, at least across the UK. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we used Very Metal art for our logo, and a guy called 5 Milligrams, who's actually in Asia. And you know, so he's done quite a lot of, like, obituary, I think he's done, and things like this. And so, you know, he sort of stood out to us. Yeah. But so we.
And what was that brief like to him? You know, was it just kind of as you said, it's about religious persecution, and, you know, we're a thrash band, do what you want. Was that kind of a
close?
Yeah,
close. But he asked me what I wanted. And I said to him, well, it was quite a funny conversation, because I said to him, well, what I want is Jesus burning on a cross with the devil sitting on the throne, on the mercy seat, with all the fallen disciples around him and nuns and priests on spikes. And he went, what? And that's what we got. He said, I don't even know where to start. He said, that is sick.
But leave it with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then like 4 weeks later, we got this artwork, and it's absolutely incredible. I love the artwork.
Yeah,
it's done an amazing job. But yeah, I think it's because when you look back through our albums, Denial was probably the first. Well, was it? Yeah, it probably wasn't anti-religion as such, but the actual album cover was Jesus' body with Denial written in it, like scratched in it, and then you had Fallen Prophet, of course, which was the rotting Christ on the crucifix, and then we had Religious Persecution, which was Christ being hammered onto the cross. So he's taken a bit of a battering, I'm afraid. But we're a thrash band.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is about thrash is you don't sing about real shit. You sing about stuff that's made up. And what's the biggest made up story in the world?
That's it. The biggest fairy tale. It's that first page that's missing. The characters within this book are all purely fictional and should not be resemble.
Once upon a time. Once upon a time in Israel, there was a carpenter. He wasn't very good. So we went out making miracles. Yeah, no, crazy. Because, there's somebody, back in those days when that book was being written, there was someone sitting in a pub with a few mates and they're all drinking their mead and everything, or rice wine or whatever it is. And they're all sitting there saying, do you know what's going to really baffle the world in the future? So if we write this book about this bloke. And they're all, oh, yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And it works. It works.
Have you had any, I don't think it's as much a thing anymore because there's some much more shocking things around, these days than there was 20 or even 30 years ago. Have you ever had any kind of backlash from any of your lyrical topics or?
Yes. Yeah, that was it. That American church, is it Westboro or someone? The
one that do with the hate gays and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. They were in contact with us when Religious Persecution came out. And with Insurrection, we've had a few people from Africa telling us how much we're blaspheming.
Wow.
So it does go on, but it goes into the spam and the junk mail and leave it there. I can't be doing with that.
Not one for the evening when you want to just fuck with someone.
No, exactly. Exactly, But then you think to yourself, it's like, I don't get it because, live and let live. If someone wants to be homosexual or whatever, let them be it. What the hell, doesn't mean anything to us.
No,
they're not bothering anybody. The same. Nobody bothers anybody. The only people that go around bothering people are the people that are into the religion, and they come knocking on your door.
Yeah.
What the fuck,
We should do it. I'd like to talk to you today about thrash.
Oh, yes. You can imagine it, can't you? Can we come in?
Come in and play some Slayer just to help you on your day.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That would be brilliant. I'd love that.
Although sometimes Instagram feels like that.
Yes, exactly. You know what? I don't even know Instagram. I don't even know what it's about. We got an Instagram account, but I haven't got a clue. Joe looks after all of that because he's young. He knows what he's doing.
That's it. Always recruit someone younger in the band to do all the social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes the band look younger as well. So the average age has gone down like 5 years.
Just by that's it. Just by having a 12-year-old guitarist. That's not fair.
No, exactly. The only problem is now the stage is a little bit sort of heavy now because Joe's really skinny. He's got no meat on him. And then there's Simon and I and Andy. We're sort of like, we've got a bit of middle-aged spread, let's say, put a lot of money in that stomach.
He'll catch up. A few tours and you'll kind of feed him up on junk food and beer and he'll be all right.
Yeah, free kebabs.
That's it.
Yeah, go to Germany. Just drink loads of beer and eat kebabs. That's it.
15 bratwurst a night. He'll soon pile on the pounds. Yeah.
Well, yeah, too right. Well, you do. That's the thing,
So that leads me on nicely. What about touring this album? What's the plans?
Tours.
Touring it again, I should say.
Yes. Well, yes. Well, we've been touring this for 4 years. We played near enough every country in Europe now, just on this album. With Brexit, we can't do that now. So, but so we're concentrating more on the UK this time round. We start off on the 28th of January in Club 85 in Hitchin. And then we're down at the Dev in Camden the following day. And then what have we got? Hang on. Saturday, the 12th of February.
Have you got a list there, Paula?
No, I haven't. Do you want to see my gig list? It's here. That's my gig list.
There it is.
Yeah. And where it's got blue means the kids are off school. So
no
you have to really, you have to really look after them. And I haven't written down all of the shows. I got Hammerfest on the 12th of February. What else? And then it just says show. I'm terrible. But we're hitting Norwich, we're hitting Newcastle, Nottingham, Middlesbrough, Bristol, Hastings, where else? Tiverton, Glasgow, Inverness, Swansea. The tour ends in Swansea, so that's going to be a fun one. We haven't been in Wales for a few years.
A messy night in Wales. That's a perfect way to finish the leg.
Yes, exactly. It'll be tidy, as they say. And we're in Germany in April and Austria.
Brilliant.
And I think Netherlands in there as well, but I'm not 100% sure yet. That's not been finalised.
And you touched on the dreaded B word then. Has that been difficult with Brexit to organise that, or have you you have to employ a fixer who's kind of crossing people's hand in euros to get you through the line? No, well, unfortunately not, because part of my trade is tour management, and so everything to do with Helgrind's tours tends to land on my lap, or land on my desk, as it were. And so Brexit's been. Touring Europe's going to be difficult. We've got an issue. We can't take any of our back line with us, and we can't take any merchandise with us. If we want to take that, then we have to fill in an ATA carnet. But we can't afford it. It becomes too expensive for us to do that. So what's the route around that? Can you get a local production company to print you 100 tees or 50 tees or whatever your normal run is, and pick them up when you get into Europe? Is that the way around? And it's kind of a bigger question. Does that work both ways? Will European bands order merch from a UK provider and vice versa, so that you overcome that sort of stuff? I think they will. We won't do that because I print all our merch, because I've got a direct to garment printer, and so I do all of that. So I'll just box it and send it to our promoter over in Europe. Right. Because that's the only way we can make money. We don't make money on Spotify streams. Definitely not. No. But we don't make money on CDs or anything like that. So the only way we do make any cash is through sales of T-shirts and sales of CDs actually in the venues. Yeah. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. And I think because we can't take our back line, but we can take our pedals, our guitars, and our leads. And the drummer, Andy, can bring consumables or whatever they're called. Snares, yeah. But it's got to be something that you must be able to carry it yourself. Right. So if you can carry it, it's classed as a personal instrument. Okay. Well, if your guitarist is quite skinny, I reckon you can get him wearing at least 3 of every size T-shirt to go through customs in. Yeah. Well, I'm a Michelin man by the end. Are you sure you haven't got only one T-shirt on? You can't bend his arms. So So on that note, if people obviously, hopefully by now they've picked up the album, but if not, do you want to give your kind of website and online shop a little shout out so people can go and pick up? I think you've got a limited T-shirt bundle and the album T-shirt. I mean, I think there's 2 different T-shirt options in the bundles. If I remember looking at it. Yeah,
there is. Yeah, we got. I think the limited T-shirt, the limited edition T-shirt's gone. That's finished now because that was only for pre-release.
Right.
But we do have bundles where you can get, I think it's the back print of the artwork, which is the Hell's Gate. And so that's the Hell's Gate T-shirt. And then we got the front cover as well. And they're all full colour shirts as well, which is pretty cool. And of course, just the CD if you want it. And as of, midnight Friday or Thursday midnight. I don't know which way you called it, which way around you called it, but
Friday morning.
Friday morning, yeah, exactly, yeah. Central European time, the album be available digitally everywhere. So,
and if you want to actually pay for it, people can buy it digitally on Bandcamp, I think, as well, can't they?
Yes, they can. Yeah, and they can buy the physical copy there as well.
Okay, so, and I think someone told me the other day if you bought it, I think it's already released on Bandcamp, but.
Yeah, it is. That was my fault. That really is my fault. And it's like, because people were saying to me, "Why have you put the album up on Bandcamp?" And I said, I didn't. I put it so you couldn't get it until October.
Oh no, you didn't.
No, I know I didn't. We sold it. We sold it on there.
And people are listening.
Yeah. Wow.
Whatever.
It's gone. It's gone now. Never look backwards or only forwards.
That's it. So what's next for you guys? Obviously, you're going to tour this album. Is there any kind of, you've played some kind of pretty big gigs. You got a festival in there. Is there anything else on the list that you'd really like to do? Do you want to, Bloodstock or a Badger Fest, or where else would you like to kind of plant your feet and play some thrash?
It's actually funny you should say that. We applied for Badger Fest for next year. We've sent them the email, so hopefully John's got that.
I'll go and talk. John was asking for people, so get on the Badger Fest site. They're asking for who do you want to see in 2022, and start tagging you in. I think that's the way forward.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Yeah, because we'd love to play Badger Fest. We've seen that grow over years and years. So it's really, really great, and we'd love to be a part of that. Bloodstock has always been a dream for us to play. We've never ever played Bloodstock.
Are you in a bit of a weird place because you're obviously too experienced and well known to do a Metal to the Masses, but you're not getting are you kind of in that in-betweeny zone?
Yes, we are. When I first started out in music, they told us that you're on a ladder, right? And you're on a rung, and at the very bottom rung, you're playing all the underground shows. Maybe 10 people turn up or whatever. You don't have any albums or anything like this. And as you build up when you're playing with certain bands and so on, and we're in between, we're sort of stumbling between the steps.
Someone put one of those rungs really far apart, and it's just
and the middle one's fallen out, and we're like, oh, for God's sake, because we've played so many festivals and throughout the whole of Europe. Since 2010, we've headlined Europe every year. We've done headline tours throughout the Europe, and we've played festivals over there, and city festivals, and even over here we've played things like the Sparkle Charity Show, which was in Manchester. There's like good amount of people. You get like 3,000 people in some of these shows. Yeah. So we're not strangers to that big stage and being able to entertain, and we know our way around a big stage. But I think because we don't do enough in the UK, or we didn't do enough in the UK. We'd play maybe 5 shows in the UK in the past, and most of our stuff would be in Europe. I think people get a bit wary of what are you doing and how are you going to manage it.
Yeah, and I guess it's also understanding what the following is as well. If you're playing gigs in the UK all the time, promoters know how many people they're likely to get through the doors. And if you do pull a crowd, and I guess if you're a rare occasion in the UK, that's sometimes harder to gauge. It's like, you might get 1,000 people in Germany, but you're going to get it in Nottingham on a Thursday.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, Thursday gigs are pretty dead now anyway, aren't they? So Monday to Thursday, forget it. So you got to sort of stick to the weekends now.
Especially as a UK band, I think you can get away with it. If you're coming over as a big American act, you can get away with a kind of a couple of weekday works. But even that's tough, I think, these days, is to get people out of their, out from the work routine on a Tuesday to go and, get upside down in the asylum or something.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Because traditional touring is gone. It's dead now. There isn't such a thing really, unless you are one of these bands that have been backed by God knows who, and you can go out and like the Sepultura doing like that big 30-day European tour. So for the underground scene, which is where we are, and we really enjoy the underground because it's up close and dirty, and we love that, because we meet so many people, but you can't do that traditional tour anymore. You can't go on a run of 10 dates, which is what we used to do back in 2007. So it wasn't until 2008. It wasn't really that long ago where you could go up and down the country in this country and you could play 14 dates in a row and get people through the door and every single show.
Yeah. Now it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go home for a week and go back out the following weekend.
Yeah, exactly that. If you can. And then there's venues are booking up so quickly.
Yeah.
That now,
especially with all the delay from COVID, everyone, there's even more people kind of delayed tours and delayed shows and everything else.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you've got all the postponed stuff that you've got to try and fit around. So with us, we're, because we never had any of that. So for us, we're going in, we can only play like 2 shows, 3 shows a month, or 2 weekends a month, or 1 weekend a month. So it's really, it's really quite difficult. It will calm itself down eventually.
Yeah. And who are you taking out with you? Who's you taking out on the road?
Right, we're taking Inquire Within with us, who are on Metal Rocker as well. They got a new album out, which is really, really good. So you have to check them out. I've
got their new single to play on the show actually, so that will kind of be somewhere around the edit.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, they're brilliant band. I do enjoy their music. So they've got a really good sort of, I don't know, is it like it's another old school sort of thrash, listening to them. So they're a really good match for us. And we got a smaller band. They're going to hate me for calling them that, but 13. They're a local Hertfordshire band, and they're a real sort of. I wouldn't class them as a thrash band, really, but they're a good metal band, and they know how to deliver it and they know what they're doing. But I don't. They probably hate me for saying that they're not a thrash band, wouldn't they? They'd be like, "Fuck, we're a thrash band."
Thanks for fuck all, Paula.
Yeah, that's what they'll be on there. I'll get a message from them. What do you mean we're not thrash? You're not thrash.
You're not. Yeah.
You're thrash, but you're not thrash.
Yeah, there's no capital T on it.
You're not 240 beats per minute.
Sort it out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they'll be saying, it feels like 240 beats a minute. Yeah, but it ain't.
It doesn't quite match the grade.
No, exactly, yeah. When you do 70 minutes of 240 beats per minute, you come and talk to us and tell us you're thrash.
That sounds like fighting talk. I can see this.
But they're an absolutely fantastic band, and they're really, really good guys as well. So we
don't try covering your tracks now.
No, sorry, 13.
Right.
We've got in Scotland, we've got Seed of Sorrow coming with us, who are I think they win the Metal of the Masses up in Inverness, I think, a fair bit. I don't know how many bands are in that, to be fair, because Inverness doesn't seem like a really big sort of town.
I think Scotland's weird. I think they join a few places together and have like a couple of Scottish heats. So they do, because obviously I don't think you get I think apart other than Glasgow, I don't think you get a massive turnout.
No, yeah, I did wonder. I did wonder what it's like, what the pool was. They where we're playing, they have so many metal bands going through.
Yeah,
you know, and when we mentioned that we were going to play there's quite a few people who saying, "Oh wow, yeah, we love that place," and so it's sort of okay. Well, there must be something going on up there.
Yeah, I think the Scottish scene's really strong at the moment. You know, I said to you the other day, I was up with Acid Rain and we went to kind of Glasgow and Dundee, and it was amazing that, you know, the Scottish crowd are bonkers. It's you know, you can't ask for more than that with a thrash crowd. You know, I think they're made for it. So I'm sure that'll be a great date.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, because we're playing Glasgow as well the day before Inverness. So, you know, and I've met a few Highlanders in the past, and they know how to drink and party. So it's going to be fun.
Get your best drinking head on.
Oh yeah, God, I don't think I've got one of them anymore.
Out of practice.
Yeah, exactly. No, that stupid lockdown.
So finally, do you want to give a shout out to all your kind of social media where people can come and find you, your website and all that sort of good stuff, so people can hunt you down? I'll put links in the show notes, but
Well, yeah, of course, everything we've uniformed everything. So everything is Helgrind UK. So youtube.com, Helgrind UK, you know, and facebook.com/Helgrind UK. Everything is just Helgrind UK. Instagram, are we on Twitter? We probably are. Helgrind UK. You know, someone somewhere's probably put that on at some stage in our career.
In the band's history, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's because it's what you do, isn't it? You know,
MySpace and no.
We did have a MySpace page, and that was Helgrind UK as well.
And the website is obviously the hub of everything that's going on, and then you can kind of view your shop's attached to that, and that's helgrind.co.uk, I believe.
That's right, yes, and the shop is shop.helgrind.co.uk,
which is on the menu bar from the main website anyway, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. It should be on there, yeah, and I think it's linked on our Facebook page as well.
Perfect.
Or should be. I bet it ain't. People, I'm clicking that bloody link.
Yeah, sends me off to eBay.
That goes nowhere. Yeah.
Paula, on that note, I will let you get back to it.
Thank you.
As I said, really enjoyed the album. It's definitely going to be a kind of a placer in this year's top 10, I'm pretty sure. It'd be great to see you guys on stage at some point in the near future, because for some reason I've always missed you. So, but I'll definitely be at HRH next year, so that'll be a well-deserved treat. Good luck with everything else. Keep healing, and keep thrashing.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us on.
You're welcome. Thanks, Paul. Bye-bye.
Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.
Thanks to Paula for joining us. We thoroughly recommend the new album from Helgrind. Next up, this is Hellbird and Return of the Axe.
Surrendering underneath our might, we take it out.
Coming to the end of the show. At the very end, we've got a track chosen by Paula from Helgrind. Before that, this is also from Northern Ireland. This is Curse Sun and their track Crawl Space.
By your legs, vindicate, strangulate with sexy eyes. Violation, intimidation, wrong place, the wrong time. Interrogation, ask me anything. I'm pass the test fucking every time. What you see ain't what you get. You see me as your fucking friend. Come with me, I'll take you for a ride. On your knees, you fucking come inside. I'll bring you down. Deep down deep inside. Inside my cross space. And you can't dig your own grave. I'll bring you down. Just step inside my own cross space. And you'll fucking die. Vindication, constipation. Prepare the young and malicious design. Preparation, prepare the enemy. Leave no evidence, the ultimate crime. What you see is what you get. You see me, killer clown instead. Come with me, I'll take you for a ride. On your knees, you fucking come inside. I'll bring you down. Down to inside. Inside my cross space. And you can't dig your own grave. I'll bring you down. Come you inside. Asphyxiation. Where you'll soon get die. Dig deeper down. Dig deeper down. Dig deeper. So read me now. Dig deeper. Burning people. I am the cloud of infamy. I am the smell of death. You will not find my sympathy. You will be laid to rest. Gather to the hell spawn in the ground. Lay me out. can't stop this war inside of me, inside of me. You are not my father. I scream, you scream, we all scream for blood. I scream, you scream, we all scream for blood. Come with me, I'll take you for a ride. One last thing you must get kills my ass.
This is Paula from Helgrind, and this is one of my favourite songs, Sepultura's Inner Self.
Someday you fall, and I'll be
Moshville Radio. From indie to metal, it rocks.